Let's set the stage. It's 2002, and New York City is still healing. The air is heavy with memory. Streets once filled with sirens now hum with a quieter kind of resilience. In the months after 9/11, the city's creative pulse began to flicker again. Artists, writers, and musicians searched for ways to make sense of the silence that followed the noise. Then, from the dim lights of the Lower East Side clubs came a new sound, introspective, shadowy, and full of longing. At the center of it stood four musicians, Paul Banks, Daniel Kessler, Carlos Dengler, and Sam Fogarino. They carried themselves with the calm precision of people who had seen the world tilt and were trying to steady it again. They produced a debut album that captured the moment perfectly. Released in August 2002, it wasn't just music, it was a reflection of a city reclaiming its heartbeat, one echoing guitar line at a time. Welcome to Album Archives, the vault of music history, where we dive into the top albums of all time as voted on by fans of the Music Rewind podcast. I'm your host, Steve Epley, and today we're stepping into the shadowy, stylish world of number 277, Turn on the Bright Lights by Interpol. Released in August 2002, Interpol created a hypnotic blend of post-punk grit, atmospheric textures, and razor-sharp songwriting. With standouts like Obstacle 1, NYC, and Untitled, it's a sonic journey through urban melancholy and raw emotion. So slip on your trench coat, dim the lights, and let's dive into the cinematic brilliance of Turn on the Bright Lights. This album captures a defining moment in rock history. Formed in 1997 at NYU, Interpol honed their sound at New York's dive bars, drawing inspiration from Joy Division, the Chameleons, and the city's gritty pulse. By 2001, their taut live performances caught the attention of Matador Records. Recorded over a few intense weeks, Turn on the Bright Lights bottled the band's chemistry and New York's fragile, emotional climate, delivering a debut that felt like an emergence from a city rediscovering its strength. Why is Turn on the Bright Lights so special? It's a perfect blend of raw emotion, polished restraint, and atmospheric depth. Banks' detached yet yearning vocals weave through Kessler's shimmering guitars, Dengler's driving bass, and Fogarino's tight rhythms. The album opens with Untitled, a slow-building gem that sets the mood with hypnotic guitar lines and a swelling sense of melancholy. Then comes Obstacle 1, a jagged, urgent burst of energy with a chorus that hooks you instantly. Followed by NYC, a sprawling, beautiful tribute to the city. Its lyrics dripping with longing and quiet defiance. A perfect love letter to New York City. One recording note, NYC was written in the wake of 9/11, with Banks penning lyrics that captured the city's grief and endurance. The band recorded it in a single take to preserve its raw emotion, and Caddis added a subtle reverb to evoke a cinematic nocturnal feel. It remains a fan favorite and a centerpiece of their live shows. We've also got PDA, a propulsive anthem that builds to a euphoric climax, while Say Hello to Angels crackles with nervous energy. Hands Away strips things back to a haunting minimalism, with Dengler's bass carrying the mood on that one. Overall, the production is pristine, yet raw. Caddis and Jones struck that perfect balance between polish and pulse, letting every note glimmer like the New York City skyline. One thing this album does perfectly is pacing. Everything flows right as it should. Stella was a diver and she was always down is a dark, cinematic descent, while Roland channels punk urgency with Fogarino's relentless drums. The New unspools into a 6-minute epic, its groove and guitars evoking a late-night drive through the city's empty avenues. At 59 minutes, Turn on the Bright Lights is lean but immersive, each song a vignette within a larger emotional landscape. The chemistry among the four is magnetic. Kessler's precision, Banks' stoic mystique, Dangler's baroque flair, and Fogarino's unshakable backbone. Together, they crafted a debut that defined a sound. Thematically, you don't need to dive into subtext for this one. Turn on the Bright Lights explores longing, isolation, and the quiet ache of city life. Songs like NYC and Leif Erikson capture the heartbeat of a sleepless metropolis, while Obstacle 1 and PDA trace the tension between connection and distance. Emerging during the early 2000s post-punk revival, it stood apart from the swagger of the Strokes or the disco-punk flash of the Rapture. It wasn't about the noise, it was about the mood, memory, and meaning. Let's put 2002 in context. Rock radio was dominated by the White Stripes and Queens of the Stone Age, while pop was ruled by hip-hop acts like Eminem and Nelly. Then came Interpol, a band that sounded like the city itself, sophisticated, scarred, and searching. The album hit number 10 on the US indie chart and launched Interpol into worldwide acclaim. Critics were floored. Pitchfork gave it a 9.5, calling it a rare debut that grips you and doesn't let go. Its influence rippled through the National, editors, and Foles, who borrowed its cool cinematic melancholy. Why does Turn on the Bright Lights endure? First, its atmosphere. It plays like a black and white film noir in sound, drenched in fog and city light. Second, its songcraft. Every track is deliberate, tight, and emotionally loaded. Third, its authenticity. A reflection of a band in a city caught between trauma and renewal. The cover's iconic red glow feels like hope trying to pierce that darkness. For me, Turn on the Bright Lights is headphones on, eyes closed, and the city moving around you. I was lucky enough to hear this for the first time while in New York when I had the time to wander the city with just my headphones. It was quite the experience. It reminded me that this is not just a debut, but it's a document of endurance. So is there another Turn on the Bright Lights in Interpol's catalog? Their follow-up antics brought sharper hooks and bigger stages, but the debut's haunting magic remains unmatched. Even as Carlos Dengler departed in 2010, the band continues to tour and record, carrying the same quiet intensity. To quote Paul Banks, "We were just trying to capture what it felt like to be us, in that moment, in that city." If you haven't revisited Turn on the Bright Lights lately, go do it now. Spin the vinyl, stream it on a rainy night, and take it on with you through the streets. It's an album that doesn't shout, it breathes, and it lingers. New to it, brace for a hypnotic ride that'll stay with you long after it fades. It's not just a debut, it's one of the defining albums of the 2000s. That's it for this edition of Album Archives. If you enjoyed it, share it with a friend, or leave a review wherever you listen. Next up is number 276, Whitney Houston's self-titled album from 1985. Check out the top albums list at musicrewindpodcast.com/albumarchives to see where we're at and where we're headed. For now, I'm Steve Epley, and as I always say, listen to the full album. Until next time.
A podcast from the Sidereal Media Group. Back to you, anchors.